This is a follower-submitted story, and it goes like this. Is my ex-husband the astronaut for ruining my cake I baked for a culinary competition? Did he eat it? Hello, Dusty, Candy, and the gang. I love listening to your stories and wanted to share one I had from a few years ago. My female 43, now ex-husband, male 45, and I were married for 10 years. I have plenty of stories I could share about times that I knew he was for sure the asshole, but this one really irks me still. I've always been big into baking since I was a little kid. Baking cakes, muffins, pies, cookies. It's like an escape from the world for me at times. And my ex, we'll call him Jay, knew about this explicitly. Ever since the early days of our relationship, even before we had gotten married, I had been entering baking competitions. No, I never made it to a Gordon Ramsay show. But nonetheless, these competitions were very important to me, and it's something I take seriously. Jay, however, always disregarded this passion of mine. Jay had interests that I don't find particularly interesting. He was very big into football, a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, that's interesting. Come on now. I mean, I like cakes and muffins and stuff too, but I also like the Chiefs. Of course, I enjoyed watching baseball, football, and things like that, but not in the way he did, a bit obsessively. And yet, I never judged him for it. I always supported him and his friends whenever they had big parties, did fantasy leagues, and whatever else they did. This one competition in particular, I was extremely nervous for. I had spent hours on end trying to perfect this cake I was baking, a 3-tier wedding cake. It was one of the most beautiful things I felt I'd ever made. Layers of red velvet and buttercream overlapping each other layer by layer, topped with little edible flowers I had made and some strawberries as well. It looked amazing. It sounds amazing. I cleared out an entire section of our fridge for the cake and had it in its own container. The competition was the next day. I woke up the next morning to find that the cake was gone. No. Not, okay, so he didn't just eat a bite. No. The cake, the entire cake is missing. We have a cake gone AWOL. I went crazy. I searched all over the house, worrying that my husband had gotten the cake out to eat a slice. I finally called Jay. It must have been at least a dozen times while he was at work until he picked up. On some weekdays, he works past when I go to bed and goes in before I wake up. He answered, annoyed, and I frantically asked him where the hell my cake was. He said that he had tried a slice this morning, hated the taste of it, and had thrown it in the dumpster outside.
You've gotta be shitting me, Jay. What is wrong with you? You don't take a bite of a cake and you're like, I hate it, I'm gonna throw the whole damn thing away. No.
How is this reasonable behavior for anyone on the planet? How would anybody be like, you know what, I saw my wife pour all kinds of time into this. I'm going to take one bite, which, by the way, why the hell would he take a bite of it in the first place? He knew what it was for, and then be like, it's no good. Throw it in the dumpster. My entire soul melted at that moment. I went outside and checked our trash can, and sure enough, there were the remains of my beautiful cake, toppled over on top of a pile of trash. Whatever possessed Jay to throw away my cake, I don't know. He knew I had a competition. I confronted him about it that night, and he said, you enter competitions all the time. It's not like you were going to win one anyway. Also, yep. And one of these. And one of these. And one of these. And what else do I have? I don't think I have anything else to throw at him right now. This guy's an asshole. The worst kind of asshole. And rambled on about how the cake tasted awful. Well, even if it did taste awful, it was my passion, and I was excited for the competition, even if I lost. Needless to say, a divorce came pretty soon after. I have plenty more stories about Jay, but seeing as how this one is related to cake, I thought the crew would love it. So, is Jay the asshat for throwing away my cake? Yes! Of course he is. There are... The only thing worse than a significant other who will mistreat you like this is a significant other who will mistreat you and a cake like this. It's terrible. It's the worst kind of terrible. Unforgivable. He's going to spend the rest of his days in the deepest, darkest levels of hell for this. He's going to be tortured by ghosts. They're going to haunt his ass and ask him why the hell he would do this to the cake. I think this is utter contempt for you as a person. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think it was about the cake. I don't think he even disliked the taste of the cake. Who knows if he even freaking tried the cake? Also, taste is one of those like subjective things. Everyone has unique taste. Just because he didn't like it didn't mean that the rest of the world wouldn't. Him throwing it away was just him just slapping you across the face and saying, you don't matter. And the statement about it's not like you're going to win one of these competitions anyway, screw this guy. I'm glad that you're not with him anymore because clearly he had zero respect for you. And that is absolute garbage. I'm glad that you had enough self-respect to walk away from this at some point. And you're right. You respected his hobbies. You respected his get-togethers. You didn't throw a pitch fit about anything. You didn't disconnect the cable in the middle of the game that he was watching. You didn't sabotage his hobbies, but he did to you. And that's unforgivable. It's a complete imbalance of respect, and that doesn't fly in healthy relationships. It just doesn't.